The old Victorian mansion, its time-worn facade bearing the weight of forgotten secrets and untold tales, stood tall and imposing against the backdrop of a gray, overcast sky. The once vibrant colors that adorned its exterior had faded with time, leaving behind a melancholic aura that seemed to seep into the very essence of the surrounding landscape. Windows, like vacant eyes, stared out into the world with an air of indifference, as if they had witnessed the passage of countless years and had grown weary of the sights they beheld. Locals, their voices hushed and laden with trepidation, would speak of the House of Nightmares in hushed tones, their words carrying the weight of generations' worth of spine-tingling tales. They recounted how strange noises would emanate from within the mansion's decaying walls, whispers of long-lost conversations that had been swallowed by the relentless march of time. Eerie lights were said to flicker sporadically from the uppermost windows, casting an otherworldly glow that painted the surrounding trees in an unnatural, almost spectral, hue. It was a place that exuded an unsettling energy, an energy that seemed to defy the laws of nature, as if the very fabric of reality was warped within its confines. Emily, an adventurous soul with a penchant for the macabre, found herself inexplicably drawn to the mysteries that clung to the mansion like a shroud of darkness. With a mixture of fascination and trepidation, she gazed upon the ancient edifice, her mind a whirlwind of curiosity and anticipation. Ignoring the well-intentioned warnings of the townspeople, whose faces bore the etchings of generations of cautionary tales, Emily's resolve solidified. She was determined to unlock the secrets that the House of Nightmares held within its walls, to peel back the layers of history and peer into the abyss that lay beyond. With a mixture of excitement and apprehension, she stepped over the threshold, her footsteps echoing through the grand foyer like a proclamation of her arrival. The grandeur of the entranceway was juxtaposed by an underlying sense of decay that seemed to lurk just beneath the surface. The elaborate chandelier that once illuminated the space now hung askew, its crystals dulled by years of neglect. The intricate tapestries that adorned the walls told stories of a bygone era, their vibrant depictions now faded and worn. As Emily's gaze swept across the room, a feeling of unease settled in the pit of her stomach, as if the very walls were privy to her presence and were whispering their ancient secrets to the shadows that clung to the corners. Yet, Emily's determination remained unshaken. She had come in search of inspiration, a spark that would ignite the ember of her creativity and set ablaze a story unlike any other. With resolute steps, she moved further into the mansion, her mind buzzing with possibilities and her heart pounding with a heady mix of excitement and fear. Unbeknownst to her, the House of Nightmares had taken notice of her presence, its ancient heart awakening from a long slumber, ready to reveal the horrors that had remained concealed for far too long. As Emily settled into the mansion's study, the room's air seemed to carry an electric charge, laden with a palpable tension that tingled against her skin. The walls, adorned with faded portraits of stern-faced ancestors, appeared to watch her every move with a disapproving gaze. The dim light from the flickering candles cast dancing shadows that played tricks on her eyes, making the very room feel like an illusion, a thin veil separating her from a world of enigmatic mysteries. Night descended like a heavy curtain, and with it came a subtle shift in the atmosphere. The silence that enveloped the mansion was broken only by the soft whisperings of the wind outside, a mournful lament that seemed to echo the secrets of the past. Emily's fingers hovered over the keyboard, poised to transcribe the words that flowed from her imagination, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that she was not alone. As if on cue, a chorus of faint whispers began to reverberate through the study, their voices disjointed and ethereal, as if carried on a breeze from another realm. Emily's heart raced, her breath catching in her throat as she strained to catch the words that seemed to evade her grasp. The whispers were like half-remembered conversations, lingering fragments of discourse that hinted at a narrative she couldn't quite decipher. The shadows cast by the candlelight began to take on a life of their own, their forms twisting and contorting in a macabre dance that seemed to mock the laws of nature. Emily's gaze darted around the room, her senses heightened as she felt the weight of unseen eyes upon her. Each creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the curtains, sent shivers cascading down her spine, amplifying the sense of unease that had settled within her. A soft, rhythmic scratching noise emanated from above, drawing Emily's attention to the ceiling. It was as if some unseen presence were trapped within the attic, desperately seeking a means of escape. Despite the tendrils of fear that coiled around her, Emily's curiosity got the better of her. She ascended the staircase leading to the attic, each step accompanied by the haunting echoes of her own footsteps. The attic, a realm frozen in time, greeted her with an array of forgotten relics and dusty memories. Ancient trunks stood like sentinels, guarding the remnants of lives long past. Cobwebs adorned every surface, weaving a tapestry of neglect that hinted at the mansion's long-standing solitude. Among the forgotten artifacts, Emily's gaze fell upon a weathered journal, its pages brittle with age, yet its contents remained preserved, a testament to the enduring power of ink and paper. With trembling fingers, Emily retrieved the journal, her heart quickening as she began to decipher its faded script. The entries within were a tapestry of madness and obsession, a chronicle of the mansion's previous inhabitants and their descent into a darkness that defied comprehension. The words seemed to come alive as she read, each sentence pulling her deeper into a narrative of inexplicable phenomena and unrelenting terror. The journal spoke of spectral apparitions that wandered the halls at night, their mournful wails echoing through the darkness like a symphony of despair. It detailed experiments conducted by a Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood, a former owner of the mansion, who had become consumed by an insatiable curiosity about the realms beyond the living. His words hinted at a boundary that had been crossed, a threshold breached, and the consequences that had ensued were enough to curdle the blood. As Emily's eyes scanned the pages, she felt an almost tangible connection to the tormented souls who had once inhabited the mansion. Their presence seemed to linger within the very fibers of the journal, their anguish seeping into her consciousness like a relentless tide. Unbeknownst to her, the shadows that danced along the walls were not merely tricks of the light, but the spectral remnants of those who had been forever trapped within the house of nightmares. Emily's days in the mansion became an intricate dance between her pursuit of knowledge and the growing unease that seemed to permeate every corner of the house. The journal she had discovered became her constant companion, its pages filled with cryptic entries that spoke of forbidden rituals and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. As the sun dipped below the horizon each evening, Emily would light the candles in the study, casting a warm yet feeble glow that held the encroaching darkness at bay. Her fingers traced the faded ink on the journal's pages, her mind becoming a canvas for the stories of those who had once walked the same halls she now navigated. The descriptions of unexplainable phenomena and the gradual unraveling of sanity evoked a sense of empathy within Emily, as if she were experiencing the torment alongside the mansion's ill-fated residents. Emily's own experiences within the mansion took on an increasingly surreal quality. She would awaken in the dead of night, her heart racing and her body drenched in a cold sweat. Shadows seemed to move of their own accord, morphing into grotesque shapes that danced along the walls, their movements a haunting ballet that played out in the depths of her mind. Each step she took felt as though she were traversing a threshold between reality and the ethereal, her senses attuned to every creak and whisper that echoed through the mansion's labyrinthine corridors. One night, Emily's sleep was shattered by a piercing scream that seemed to emanate from within the very walls of the mansion. The sound was guttural and agonized, a chilling wail that sent shivers cascading down her spine. Her breath caught in her throat as she scrambled out of bed, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The source of the scream remained elusive, leaving her to wonder if it had been a product of her own fevered imagination or an echo from the past that had seeped into her reality. The specter of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood began to occupy her thoughts more and more. His presence seemed to linger in the air, a suffocating weight that pressed down on her like an invisible hand. As she delved deeper into his journal, she found herself becoming entangled in his obsession, unable to escape the pull of his insatiable curiosity about the supernatural. The journal's pages seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if Blackwood's very essence had been imprinted upon the ink and paper. Emily's nights were plagued by fevered dreams that blurred the lines between reality and illusion. She would find herself wandering the mansion's dimly lit corridors, guided by an unseen force that urged her onward. Faces twisted in agony would materialize from the darkness, their eyes vacant yet filled with a haunting sadness. Emily would wake up gasping for air, her body drenched in a cold sweat, the echoes of those ghostly encounters lingering in her mind like a haunting refrain. The journal became both a source of solace and a vessel of terror for Emily. She continued to document her experiences within its pages, her handwriting shaky and uneven as she recounted each encounter with the supernatural. The very act of writing seemed to tether her to the mansion's history, binding her to the tormented souls who had once inhabited its confines. Unbeknownst to Emily, the lines between her reality and the tales she was unraveling were beginning to blur, the boundaries between the living and the dead growing thinner with each passing day. Emily's resolve to confront the darkness that had enshrouded the mansion intensified, even as the spectral presence of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood seemed to tighten its grip on her mind. The journal, now a conduit for the mansion's history, had become a source of both fascination and dread, its ink-stained pages holding the key to the horrors that had unfolded within its walls. With each passing day, Emily felt a growing urgency to unravel the mysteries that had remained hidden for so long. Her determination led her to delve deeper into the journal's accounts of Blackwood's experiments and his relentless pursuit of the supernatural. The more she read, the more she sensed a connection between his obsessions and the palpable malevolence that seemed to linger in the air. She began to piece together a chilling narrative of a man consumed by his own curiosity, his actions leading to a fracture in the very fabric of reality, a tear through which the terrors of the unknown had seeped into the mansion. The mansion itself seemed to conspire against Emily, its architecture shifting and warping in response to the growing tension that hung in the air. Rooms that had been familiar one moment would transform into maze-like passages the next, leaving Emily disoriented and vulnerable to the whims of the unseen forces that controlled her surroundings. The very walls seemed to breathe, pulsating with a malevolent energy that sought to ensnare her within its grasp. Each night, Emily found herself ensnared in a battle against the spectral presence that sought to claim her mind. She would wake up, her body paralyzed and her senses assaulted by a cacophony of whispers that seemed to emanate from all directions. Shadows would slither across the walls, their tendrils reaching out like spectral fingers that sought to drag her into the abyss. In those moments of terror, Emily's will became her only weapon, her thoughts a shield against the onslaught of the unknown. One fateful night, Emily's resistance was put to the ultimate test. She awoke to find herself standing before a grand mirror in the hallway, her reflection distorted and twisted. Her eyes locked onto the figure that stared back at her, a visage that was not her own. Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood's features stared back at her, his hollow eyes boring into her soul with a malevolence that sent a chill coursing through her veins. A force beyond her control seemed to hold her in place, rendering her unable to tear her gaze away from the mirror's cursed reflection. She felt a presence within her mind, an intrusion that burrowed deep and sought to wrest control from her grasp. Emily's thoughts were no longer her own, as if Blackwood's tormented spirit had breached the divide between the living and the dead, seeking to possess her very being. With a strength born of desperation, Emily summoned all of her willpower to break free from the spectral grasp. Her voice, quivering with a mixture of fear and defiance, echoed through the hallway as she recited an incantation she had discovered in the journal. The words seemed to resonate with an ancient power, a force that clashed with the malevolent presence that had infiltrated her mind. The mirror trembled, its surface rippling as if disturbed by a gust of wind, and with a blinding flash of light, the spectral figure of Blackwood was expelled from the mirror's confines. As the light faded, Emily found herself collapsed on the floor, her chest heaving with exertion. The mansion itself seemed to sigh, the air heavy with the remnants of the struggle that had taken place within its walls. Emily had managed to repel the spirit's advance, but the scars of the encounter remained etched in her mind. The specter of Dr. Nathaniel Blackwood had been thwarted, but the knowledge of the darkness that had been lurking within the mansion's depths would forever haunt Emily's thoughts, casting a shadow over her very existence. Emily's victory over the spectral presence marked a turning point in her battle against the malevolent forces that had plagued the House of Nightmares. The mansion, once a suffocating labyrinth of shadows, seemed to exhale a collective sigh of release, its walls no longer resonating with the tormented echoes of the past. With each passing day, the air grew lighter, and the oppressive weight that had settled over Emily's shoulders began to ease. However, the scars left by her ordeal were not easily erased. The journal, now a testament to her courage and determination, remained a haunting reminder of the horrors she had witnessed. Its pages held a narrative of darkness that had become deeply entwined with Emily's own story, a story she knew she must tell. As she transcribed her experiences into her novel, she found herself weaving the threads of reality and fiction into a chilling tapestry that defied easy categorization. The townspeople watched in awe and apprehension as Emily emerged from the House of Nightmares, her face bearing the marks of her harrowing journey. Whispers of her encounter with the mansion's malevolent past spread through the town like wildfire, and Emily became a reluctant hero, a living embodiment of the courage required to confront the unknown. Yet, beneath the surface, the scars of her experiences remained, etched into her psyche like an indelible brand. As Emily walked away from the mansion, she carried with her a profound understanding of the darkness that could lay dormant beneath even the most elegant facades. The terrors she had faced had not only shaped her writing but had left an indelible mark on her soul. Her nights were haunted by the echoes of her encounters, her dreams a maelstrom of images that blurred the boundaries between reality and illusion. The House of Nightmares had relinquished its grip on Emily, but its legacy continued to unfold within the pages of her novel. The words flowed from her fingertips like a cathartic release, a way to exorcise the demons that had haunted her and confront the fears that had once held her captive. Each sentence was a testament to her resilience, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to triumph over the forces of darkness. As Emily's novel gained recognition, she became a celebrated author, her name synonymous with tales of horror and the macabre. Yet, for all her success, she knew that the true horrors of the House of Nightmares could never truly be captured on paper. The mansion had become a part of her, its chilling presence forever etched into her consciousness, a reminder that some truths are better left buried in the shadows. And so, Emily's journey continued, her path forever intertwined with the House of Nightmares. She had escaped the abyss that had threatened to consume her, but the echoes of that dark chapter lingered on, a haunting melody that played in the recesses of her mind. The legacy of the House of Nightmares would forever be a part of her, a haunting reminder of the power of the human spirit to confront the unknown and emerge stronger, even in the face of the most terrifying of horrors.